All right, guys, so we're in the house now, and I want to go ahead and show you what it looks like on the Amazfit app first, which is Zepp. I still got the watches on right here. So this is what it looks like in the Amazfit application, which is Zepp. Now, when I go into what I just did, which is the cycling right there, there's a map at the top of each one of these applications, which I love. I'll tell you which one I like better as far as the way it looks, but for now, we're going to start with the Amazfit app since it's technically the challenger. So when I go in here, the map starts to load, and I'm going to put it up here because I don't want to disclose my location, but I'll show you the map though because I'm going to white out the streets. But nonetheless, here we are. This is what you're faced with on the Zepp app. At the top here, you can see the time. Disregard the workout time. This one got a little bit more time, I believe. One of them did because I had to stop and start, and I was recording with one hand. So nonetheless, I did this bike ride around the corner and back to the mailbox in less than 6 minutes or 5 minutes or so. But the information is there. So my average heart rate, 112. You know, my max heart rate was 140. You'll see in a second. Here's my speed in kilometers, everything, the elevation. If I want to see more, I can just go into detail, and I get it all on one screen like this. I could stop here and just use this information, but we're going to keep going. So it tells me what I used, which was the GTR 4, which is this watch. It tells me everything here is kind of like opening things up to me now. Oh, your speed was 11.4 kilometers, and your maximum was 16 kilometers. Your heart rate, here we go. Let's check this graph out. You maxed out at 140, and then you had an average of 112. Now this was a real mild anaerobic workout. So I tend to do a lot of anaerobic workouts because at my age, again, it doesn't take much to get my heart rate up to 150. I'm in decent shape though. I can roll with you 20-year-olds still probably. I mean, I'm going to do everything, but I can still get down. But in my normal workout, you'll see more of the max. But for this bike ride, it was 5 minutes, folks, or so. So it's not going to be that much. But the reason I got that anaerobic workout because I went uphill. I decided to go uphill on the return, and we'll get to that in a second. But this is the breakdown of the information. It tells you how well you did, what you actually did there with your heart, and you can see your altitude here. It's a little different here from up above where it showed elevation and everything. You can see the maximum, the minimum, you know, the average. And here's where I like the Amazfit better. And I'm going to show you in a second. It clearly shows uphill, downhill. Now, you heard me say earlier that I went the same way I came. And I did that for that reason, because I know that the uphill, if I just would have went in a circle around the block, a part of the area of the street is not really a big steep hill. So when I left the house, I went out and basically most of that ride was downhill. Like a minute of it was downhill. So the uphill and downhill should mirror themselves, because I just told you that I came back the same way, and you'll see it on the chart, the graph, when I show it to you, the map, I mean. But this is what I like about the Amazfit application. I don't really have to try to figure anything out, and I'm going to show you. And I'm not taking a shot at Samsung. Obviously, both watches did great, but a lot of people said the GPS is bad on here, and I disagree. They both picked up my GPS location. They both locked in fine. It was flawless on both, I will say that. But when it comes to the application and really getting to know what I'm doing here, this is beautiful to me. I told you at the beginning I went the same way I came, and here is the proof. This is the proof. So I went out about a minute or so downhill, and I came up back the same way uphill about a minute or so. You can see here, it gives you another breakdown of everything. Now let's go over to the Samsung Health app. With the Samsung Health app, there's a map at the top of the screen when you first come into it, but this is what it looks like for Samsung. This is what it looks like. It's good. It's nice, but I can't click on any of these things. They don't open up to anything else. So remember, the Amazfit app has bigger graphs and everything. And hey, I'm a well-educated person. You know, I know how to read. But when I'm coming back from my workouts and I know how to analyze things, I went pretty far in math, I would say. I did pretty good. But when it's certain things in my life, I don't want to try to work for it just to get an answer. This is where I like the Amazfit a little bit better because it gives more charts than graphs like this. But they are both displaying the same information, just in a different way. This is going to be about what you prefer. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So you go down, you can see the workout information here. Same thing. I made it to anaerobic workout. It was between 137 and 153, which remember I hit 140 over there. You can see that. On that, on the Amazfit, it clocked me in at a max of 140. And over here on Samsung, it gave me between 137 and 153, which is accurate. That is correct. Again, this isn't about who's doing it wrong. This is about, well, I guess you do want to find out how accurate they are, but neither one of these got this wrong. But then you come down here to this information, and this is where the workout details come into play, different than the Amazfit. So that's why it's going to come down to what you prefer. That's it. So over here, you can see miles per hour instead of kilometers on the Amazfit. And I got to get in here and change it to miles per hour instead of kilometers, but they are both accurate. They are accurate. You can see distance, average pace. You can see everything. Lower elevation, higher elevation, everything is there. And here is what I really like. Now remember, what was the numbers on the Amazfit? Average heartbeat was 112 versus 140. This is 119 and 141. Now that could come down to something like, okay, one watch is more snug than the other. That's it. And then you've got, your location and the weather and, any images that you snap. But this is what Samsung offers you. This is it. This is what they give you. And I just like the way the Amazfit one looks in comparison. I like how this looks. It's more direct. It's just more, I just like how it looks. It's got more charts, more things like that instead of the graphs. Now, I want to show you, I recorded the, here are the maps. So here are the maps. This is the Amazfit map. This is what it looks like right here. So, and I told you I went up and around the block, and then I circled around and came back. So what I did was I came out of the house, I went this way. This portion right here, it's a small uphill right here, but it's not much. This is all downhill. It's not a very steep hill, but I still pedaled to get a lot of speed going, but there's not much of a real deep downhill. It goes downhill really over here. It's where this is a little bit more flat. This the downhill is when I get to this area. So I rode down here, I rode over here, checked my mail, then I circled back around the entire, I went back out to the block, because I could have just come up this way. I could have just turned right here and came this way and went home. But I decided, okay, I'm going to go ahead and circle back around. I'm going to go all the way back around. I went all the way to the street. I went all the way to the corner, even though I didn't come that way. You see, I went around here, and I circled around, and then this is where I got the more anaerobic stress on my heart by going up this hill. And then I circled back around and came around this way. Now, for Samsung, this is what theirs looks like. As you can see here, it looks really polished. I've got some trophies up there. I got, I hit some go. The reason it's showing trophies is I haven't, both of these, for reference, I started both of them. As you saw, I started both of them because I knew I wasn't going to take long. After 10 minutes, though, both of these will kick in. They'll auto start. So, but with the Samsung one, it gives you a little bit more polished look. When I just on that screenshot of there, and you can see the same route was picked up by the Samsung device and went all the way around. It told me everything. It did it all the same. The Samsung version just looks a little bit more polished in this respect. Now, I did record the intros here. Here we go. I did this. Okay, I got the Amazfit GTR 4 over here on the right arm. We're gonna start. Now, I did this because I wanted to show you what it's like when you start the application. When you manually do it, you can see my GPS is fully locked. It's already got my starting heart rate. But I did this to show you I like how the Amazfit app and how the watch, this is what it does. A quick bike ride. And then I've got the Galaxy Watch 5 Pro over here. I'm gonna start the bike ride. We're gonna get this thing going. This is what it looks like for Samsung. All right, that one's good to go. Now here's what it looks like for Amazfit. Let's start this one.
Start workout.
Let's get it. Now, after it talks to you and it starts up like that, this is what happens when you finish a workout with them. Okay. Did a little bit of an anaerobic. This is what the watch looks like. So this is the Amazfit GTR. I'm gonna stop it.
Workout completed. Congratulations. You have created a new personal record. Next, it's time to relax. During this workout, distance 1.4 kilometers, average speed 11.3.
Yeah, the screen timed out. but I still went on and I showed you the Samsung.
Right. The screen went off on me, but let's switch over to the Galaxy.
And this is what it looks like for the Galaxy when you stop it.
And the Galaxy Watch doesn't talk or anything, but it gives you all your numbers.
Yeah, that's what happens. So for me, I genuinely like the way the Amazfit application is put together. I like how the watch tracks my fitness. I have more workouts on the Amazfit as well. The GPS lock, folks, is great on the Amazfit. It's not like what people have said to me in the past. And even though I've used the Amazfit watches before, I still wanted to go ahead and put this out there because a lot of people are criticizing this watch saying, oh, it's no good, the so-and-so is better, but a lot of these people don't have this watch. Now, I understand the Garmin watches. I've got GPS watches. Remember, you see them on the channel, go do your research. I've got fitness watches. They're strictly for GPS. And I've tried Garmin. I've tried all these other watches. I think it just comes down to what you like, because both of these locked on to GPS flawlessly. They did great. They both tracked my location perfectly fine. No ifs, ands, or buts. They're both synced to this phone too, by the way. And so I'm not having an issue with the Amazfit lineup, but this is just to prove a point that, or I guess not, I don't want to come across as, no, I don't want to like that. I'm just saying that until you use something, because a lot of people don't know about the Amazfit lineup. They know about what they would consider a bigger brand and all this other stuff. But I'm telling you folks, if you're into fitness, the Amazfit is fantastic for that. It's amazing. Pun intended. These watches should not be slept on. There are more Amazfit users than a person might believe. There's a ton of them out there. A ton of them. So I suggest that you start using the Amazfit watches. I don't work for Amazfit. Frick, they're not giving me a check. I'm just a guy, like I always said, when I'm reviewing anything, I'm just a guy on the internet showing you what I have because I like to share and I like to keep you up to date on what I think would be a good match for you, or something you might be interested in. So how did it do against the Watch5? I think it did great. This is the challenger and this is the champion, I guess. Samsung Health has been a thing that's been in effect for a long time. So I suggest that you, and remember, this watch costs a lot less. It costs half the price of the Watch5. So the Watch5 Pro. So I think you should really give it a shot, man. I think you'll love it. The watch can lock on to 5 satellites, and I think that's more than enough. The GPS lock is great, and I wanted to share just a small workout with you guys. That wasn't really a workout, but for me, once I get my heart rate up, man, yeah, it's gonna do. I already worked out, but I'm gonna work out again later, like an official workout later. But hope you guys enjoyed. The GPS on the Amazfit watch. It's great, man. No complaints here. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.